late hit on Trevor Lawrence. So I got mixed emotions. I want my quarterback to have some mobility, but I also think you leave the pocket, Tom, and you're a running back. Where are you on this hit?
That's a great question. I've obviously been a part of the NFL for a long time, and I remember there was an instance. I'll start by saying there's mixed emotions that I have about it as well. I remember in 2001, I think we played at Buffalo, and I slid late, and Nate Clements was the corner for the Bills, and he came up out of the secondary and absolutely crushed me. My helmet went flying off, and I got back and I ran to the huddle, and I had a lot of teammates that came up to me the next day and said, dude, these guys are coming. You got to get rid of that football. And if you're going to slide, you better get down. These guys are coming to get you. And it was a great kind of learning experience for me because I realized that when I'm out of that pocket, things were moving a lot faster for me. And the defense is trying to be very aggressive. And over time, the NFL has obviously done a lot of things to, protect players and player health and safety. It's been on and on and on. And the only aspect that I think is very challenging, and certainly for Trevor Lawrence, nobody wants to see anybody get hurt, but it is also the reality of a very physical sport that we play.
Yeah.
But the only way defensive players have to be aggressive. That's their nature. I always try to be aggressive on offense. We try to block aggressively. And at the same time, the defense tries to tackle aggressively. So I don't know. There's an aspect to me that I think the quarterbacks and certainly the quarterbacks need to take better care of themselves. I see Josh Allen running a lot. I see Lamar Jackson running a lot. And it's a great skill set to have. A lot of times I wish I had that skill set. And at the same time, when you run, you put yourself in a lot of danger. And when you do that, I don't think the onus of protecting an offensive quarterback who's running should be on a defensive player. I don't think that's really fair to the defense. So if you slide and it's, everyone can argue, was it black and white or was it just a gray area? Do you slide late or is it unnecessary roughness or is it a late hit? To me, a late hit is very late. There's quarterbacks that I see running and tiptoe on the sideline, and they're not even out of bounds, and they get hit as they're starting to step out of bounds, and there's a penalty flag thrown. So the aspect, again, for a play caller, there's more design runs for quarterbacks ever now than in the history of the NFL. So are we really trying to protect quarterbacks? Because if you are trying to do it through the rules, then why are the offensive coordinators not protecting their quarterbacks by keeping them in the pocket and not designing as many quarterback runs? So I think it's gone to a point where there's really, and everyone will label a certain player as a dirty player. I don't like that one bit. Maybe they fine or penalize a quarterback for sliding late, and say, look, if we don't want these hits to take place, we've got to penalize the offense and the defense rather than just penalize a defensive player for every single play that happens when there's a hit on a quarterback.
What is going on, YouTube world? It's Coffee back with an update, man. And Tom Brady with an interesting take there. Many people might think that Brady, being a QB, that he would have a different outlook on this. But I've heard Tom numerous times since he's got started up in the broadcasting world, and let me know what you think of Brady as a broadcaster, as well as everything else we touch on here in the comments. Make sure to subscribe and hit the buttons if you're new. This is J Coffee Talk, where we talk it up on music, news, sports, and more, and it's all about hearing from you guys, the people. But I've heard Tom numerous times speak about player safety and the rules, this big issue that the NFL has had with trying to protect the players more. And like you heard him, we see guys tiptoeing on the out of bounds line. They haven't stepped out yet. The defender doesn't know what to do. They end up making a play on them. Oh, late hit. With wide receivers, it's really like the whole defenseless receiver thing. It's like, I don't know. It's not a thing where they have a direct way that this is what it is. This is a penalty, this isn't. I mean, there's stuff that they say based on the rules trying to interpret it, but what we've seen happen hasn't been consistent. It's kind of like guys don't know what to do in some instances. But in this situation with Trevor Lawrence sliding like that, I thought it was a very dirty play, personally, to me, you know. But Brady, you heard this. I'm a Bills fan. I remember this very well when Nate Clemens lit him up. Helmet went flying, all that. And Brady really did just get up, go back at it, and do what he had to do. And this is something, like I said, I've just heard him say, like, hey, when I played, it was a tougher game. I wouldn't throw across the middle to certain guys when Ray Lewis was out there and stuff like that. And I learned, hey, they're coming. You know what I mean? When you're going to slide a different way or whatever, protect yourself. And that was interesting to hear him say that maybe quarterbacks should get fined or flagged if they slide too late or something like that with a approaching defender. You know what I mean? You heard what he said. It's not fair for defensive players out there. So I thought that was interesting. You know, like it's this tough thing where player safety, we don't want to see guys hurt. Like you were saying, or you heard Brady saying, no one wants to see dude get hurt. Although I really do believe there is some goons out there that were headhunting at times that were playing to hurt someone. I mean, we saw what happened in New Orleans with the whole bounty gate, you know. I mean, that's far less individuals, I think, than guys that don't want to hurt players for the most part. But, you know, there is a few. But for the most part, I'm with what Brady was saying, that guys ain't out there trying to hurt people. But what do you think about it all? You know, he said that guys got to be careful, be safe. That's on the quarterback, not the pass rusher or the defender. And with that being said, Tom Brady wasn't the only one to speak out on this situation. As you guys see, all the footage of brawl broke out, pure melee going on. And word has hit Trevor Lawrence IR. He's got to get a surgery on his shoulder and AC joint. And this has been bothering him for some time, a few weeks back, I believe. And it's all plucked up now, as he was also concussed for the second time in a year. And Al-Shaair is suspended for 3 games, no pay. I thought maybe they would go harsher on him. I don't know, you know. Do you think that's a fair punishment? You guys think Mac Jones is going to end up doing his thing starting for them? I think Mac is a buster. You know, will we see CJ end up getting in? They signed another quarterback to the practice squad. I mean, the Jaguars ain't going to the playoffs regardless. But speaking of QBs, Houston's quarterback, Stroud, is obviously the team Shaair plays on. Houston ended up winning that game. He spoke out about this. He said it was tough to see Trev go out like that. I don't think that's his intent. It sucks to see a player ever go down. Prayers out to Trev. I hope AZEEZ learns from it, but you know, I'm still rocking with my brother. I know he didn't mean it. He didn't intend to do that. So he's saying that wasn't what it was. He didn't have any ill will in what he did. And what's it called? The Jaguars coach, Peterson, spoke out about it. And, you know, he had a lot to say, as well as Shaair himself. But Doug Peterson, the coach, defended, because there was people, this narrative starting like the Jaguars were wrong, or they're the ones that started up the brawl. And I mean, a guy takes a shot like that at your quarterback, you got to go out there and defend him, I think. I don't know. Do you think that there is something to that, you know, that he was tripping, the Jaguars were tripping, or the coach instructed them? Because he said, we're not out to hurt nobody. We're not out to ruin careers. We're out to win a football game and play hard within the rules. That's our job. That's how we coach it. That's how we play it. If they're asking or suggesting we go after someone, we're not doing that. Flat out, we are not doing that. It's not how I coach. It's not how I'm going to catch these teams, these players. We're just going to find out and do our jobs. Play hard, play fast, play physical within the rules. And Shaair, again, suspended 3 games. No pay. That's wild, right? But Peterson also said he was a little surprised that the Houston coach, D'Amico Ryans, blamed Jacksonville sideline for escalating the brawl. So that's what I was saying, where this narrative came from Houston's coach. You know, he said that they got the brawl going on the sidelines. But it was what it was. Now, Shaair spoke out about it, and he said, you know, there's racist and Islamophobic fans in the aftermath of the public's response to the incident. And that's the thing with these weirdo trolls. Like, trolling is a thing on the internet. I think everyone, right, who you're like me, the internet wasn't always here, right? Like this whole blogosphere era that we live in, it wasn't always how my life was, right? And taking part in the internet and engaging in content, making videos, watching sports, discussing stuff on social media, whatever you do, it's a little odd at first, certain things, it's a whole nother world. And when I first started hearing about trolling, like, and trying to really come and understand what it is, it's like a bugged out concept. And there's trolling that's funny and all that, but there's some weirdo trolls, and that's what he's talking about. These racist and Islamophobic fans. He's getting bashed online with all these slurs about his race and his faith, you know what I mean? And he went on to say, I've always played the game as hard as I could, never with the intent to harm anyone, and anybody that knows me knows that. My goal is to hit you as hard as I can, then I pray you're still able to get up and play the next play. That sounds gangster, right? Like, yo, I'm all about my faith. I ain't out here to hurt anyone. I'm trying to play football. I play as hard as I can. I'ma lay you out and pray that you get back up, man. And when the game is over, go home to your family unharmed, because it's not personal. It's just competition. We both are trying to do the same thing, which is provide for our families. I genuinely didn't see him sliding until it was too late, and it all happens in the blink of an eye. To Trevor, I genuinely apologize to you for what ended up happening. Before the game we spoke, and I told you how it was great to see you back out on that field and wished you well. I would never want to see any player hurt because of a hit I put on them, especially one that's deemed late or unnecessary. Now, you heard Brady in the beginning, which, once again, y'all, is that like a trip to you to hear Brady react the way in which he did? Like I said, a lot of people might have thought just him being a quarterback and all that, like, he would see things differently now. But Brady comes from that older era of football that we miss. Like, we want to see players be safe, but it's football. It's a contact sport. That's just kind of a part of the game that dudes put their well-being on the line to play the game that they love. You know what I mean? But this new player safety initiative is just changing the rules up, and it's all messed up. Like Brady was talking about gray areas and black and white. It's all so confusing at times, man. There's not really any set ways to define the rules in a lot of ways, and the refs just are atrocious, man, many times. But you heard when he was talking about late, like late is late and unnecessary. That's obviously goes without explaining what that is. To the rest of his teammates, I can definitely understand you having his back and defending him in a situation like that. And once again, Lawrence on IR, got to get this surgery on his shoulder. Shaair, 3 games, no pay. We heard Brady react to it. CJ Stroud, the Texans quarterback, Doug Peterson, Jaguars coach, and Lawrence put on social media a few days back that he was back home resting up and feeling better. But man, I don't know, like, what do you guys think of it all? Was it a dirty hit? The suspensions, just all this stuff about player safety. Let's discuss it all in the comments. Thank you once again for tuning in. Subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.